Good evening, and welcome to the Raven's Nest. I am your host, the Raven. Tonight, we will be going through a character creation for a game called A Dead Man's Guide to Dragongrin. Dragongrin has just released their setting. Absolute Tabletop has just released A Dead Man's Guide to Dragongrin, which includes information on their setting, new subclasses, backgrounds, different way of generating racial your race, basically. Instead of picking elf or dwarf, it's a little more involved in that, but we'll go through that. You can download the free character creation kit. The link is provided below. You could also purchase a print and PDF copy of A Dead Man's Guide to Dragongrin, or just a PDF copy as well. Let's see. So here's the cover. As you can see the artwork just by the first page. You can see it's quite amazing artwork there. And a little bit about Dragongrin. The ruler of Dragongrin is the Dismembered Lord, also known as Dead Man. There's some information there. A grin is either known as a mass grave or also to rise honoring the dead. So a Dragongrin would be a mass grave of dragons. See, there's half the map of Dragongrin there. And there's the other half. Let's see. Go to character creation here. First, to try out some of the features, basically I'm making a character for a campaign run by Tim Kearney, one of the members of Absolute Tabletop, and also project lead for A Dead Man's Guide to Dragongrin. You may also know him as part of Tabletop Terrors, which he started with his brother James Kearney, and they've recently added Jeff Doty to their group. So as you can see, step-by-step character generation, generate ability scores. We're going to skip that first, I guess. We'll go to the quick character generation here, actually. I actually recently found some dice, new for me because I haven't actually used them. I just opened the package now. They're actually from the D&D starter set. So we'll try them out tonight. Let's see. As you can see here, let me bring it, load up a bit. Zoom in there. All right. So heritage is what replaces the race from standard D&D. This is one part of it. Next would be the part to replace the sub race. So I might roll an elf, but it won't be, as example, a wood elf. It'll be the culture where they're from, but we'll get to that step in a moment. Let's see. Rolling a d20, and I got an 11. That means one lineage bleeds into another with traits of both halves. So it looks like I'm playing a half breed, and which could be. Oh, no, that's not right. All right. Sorry, a little technical difficulty there. Okay, so the first part. So I will be a halfkin. So on page 33, we'll look at that in a moment. And the next part would be the culture, which replaces, I guess, the subrace that you would find in D&D. So another d20, and we'll roll that. 7. I salvage the past to build a future for me and mine, a Drogus. All right, so the Drogus is a new, is one of their cultures which is unique to their world. Basically, the way I see the Drogus, they're like a group of tinkerers and scavengers. So they like to explore the past, but also work to creating different, creating little trinkets and stuff. But we'll look into that as well. And the next step is background. All right, so this one is a long one, D100. Let's go a little. Yeah, still can't get it. Oh, here we go. All right, so D100. All right, so 27. And we missed class, but we'll jump back in a moment. 27 is once the height of nobility. Let's see, we'll zoom in. So 27, once the height of nobility, now cast aside. Erstwhile noble. Okay, and let's go backtrack a little. What is your class? So for class standard D&D options, and let's see what we get with the D12. 1, barbarian. Okay, interesting. Barbarian. Usually make barbarians, so this one will be an interesting change. I have played a Tortle Barbarian Kensai Monk, which was a lot of fun. So we'll see how this one works. And I'll zoom out so you can see some of the artwork here. See, there's some outfits for different characters. Oh, this one here looks nice. Looks a little like it could be a barbarian, but a little more formal. Perhaps if it's the erstwhile noble, we'll see. See some of the different outfits. This one here, I believe, fits the Drogus. I could be wrong, but it I think it does. So that's also an option. And here's some different, some of the unique races here. The Darrow, which a little bit gnome-like, but also they have a lot more. They have a lot of changes to them in relation to Titans, which is part of the history in Dragongrin. Dwarves as well. Dwarves are also a little different as well. And let's see. There we go. There's elves. So elves also have a little difference. And what's unique, there's heritage focuses that can alter your race a little different, almost like it is a sub race. That is now been changed. Festier are, let's see. See, there's a lot in this book. I haven't read everything in detail, and the Festier I haven't read much about them. But they have a bestial ancestry. So let's see. There's another version of the bestial. So you can see how they look a little like an animal, some animal heritage in there. Here we go. Halfkin, which is what I'll be playing. Let's see. So I could be playing a half orc, a half elf, a half dwarf. Let's see. Basically, I will be half human, as the name implies. So let's also roll randomly for the traces of heritage. All right. So we get 10. 6. You look almost entirely human until you get angry. Then your second heritage emerges. See? It could have been different, like teeth and claws or nails take after your second heritage. Your could have been your height and weight are telling in regard to your non-human halfkin heritage. And let's see. Let's see. So it looks like. Let's see. So it appears that I create, I choose my heritage from either the human list or one of the other ones. But for fun, let's see. Let's go back actually and see what second We'll roll again. Oops. So we'll roll another d20 just for fun and see what our other half is. So we're half human. 4. Okay, so we will be a half dwarf. Dwarf, age 29. And humans and 34. So let's go to dwarf. Moment here. So this one is a little different. And I said I haven't read the entire book, and I haven't read the Halfkin. So I think for now, what we are going to do is just change it to a dwarf. That's what we rolled secondly. And just do a little change there. Do dwarf. All right, so dwarven barbarian. Actually, dwarven barbarian from the Drogus culture actually works really well. Dwarves are quite common in the Drogus heritage. So let's see. Roll a d10. 4. A runic birthmark holds some mysterious meaning for you. All right, there we go. And over here for the dwarf, we can choose Constitution or Wisdom increase. So you have a choice this time. Instead of dwarfs, I believe, were +2 to con, and then they would get a +1 to Wisdom or a +2 to Strength or whatever other subrace of dwarf. Let's see. They have Blood of Stone, so they gain advantage on saving throws against any effect that would turn you to stone or paralyze you. Tool proficiency, artisan from the artisan tool list of smith's tools, brewer supplies, or mason tools. So there's a little bit of the hill dwarf in there. And dwarves are traditional by nature. They tend to set down roots, building strong communities, and based on ancestral history and values. They are common among the Drogus and Grimdul, and may serve as judges among the Andor. And we choose one heritage feat. So there's a Stone Will. You gain advantage on any saving throws against being frightened or intimidated. In addition, you gain proficiency in the Intimidate skill. And there's a Dwarven Resilience. If you're reduced to 0 hit points but not killed outright, you can drop to 1 hit point instead. Let's see. And there's Unyielding Charge, Revered Traditions, Cragskin, Immovable Frame, and Stubborn Persistence. You know what? I am going to roll randomly for that as well, and that is a d6. 1. So the first thing I get is Stone Will. All right. Let's right. That would be interesting, but the advantage. All right. So next thing we look at are the Drogas. So page 45. So they are known for as being adventurers, pioneers, archaeologists, reclaimers of antiquities found in Dragongrin. So basically, they're salvagers, they're criminals, and they also tend to rebuild. And I'll show you their symbol here. See, it made up patchwork tools, which is a nice description of how they are. Avarice of the Drogas, so they are considered greedy, which is a nice dwarven barbarian. I think this works really nice together. I won't go into the history and stuff. There's a lot. There's a lot to cover. And I said I haven't finished reading myself. And here, under weapons and warfare, they mention that they're good at skirmishes, hidden blades, and illicit kinds of combat. So they're not, what you call the front line. Maybe a little rogue type. That's these arson, extortion, assassination. So this would be an interesting type of character to play. Tinkerers and builders. And here we go. Drogas are most commonly dwarves in heritage, but they also have Darrow and Tome Hearts. Talks a bit about their customs. And then right over here, we have rumors. Let's see. Rumors for the Drogas. Rumors are as plentiful as they are unreliable, with their operations often relying on misinformation, misdirection, and a heavy use of the trade tongue, known as bartermouth. Some rumors continue to surface in varied forms with enough half-truths to be worth considering. So, at least in part, they would be might be some truth to some of these. All right. Here we go. We'll roll a d10. 10. A Drogas warlord, calling herself the Unbroken, vows to unite the desperate clans of the Drogas to reclaim Sphere from the undead plaguing it. Yes, there is a race of undead, and you can actually play them. Right then. It talks to how you relate, how the Drogas relate to other cultures. And Sarek are the undead. It says, bad luck most times. There's just something unsettling about dead who can speak, and they're a constant reminder to our former glory. So it's just packed full of information in this book, and there's, as you can see, 454 pages of just information and just and charts for rolling up characters' names, for creating encounters, everything you could need for an entire campaign or even just a one shot. This talks about the Drogas code. Basically, every Drogus follows these three codes, but then there are two additional codes that they follow as well. Perhaps it's their what's called a Surga, which is I guess it's almost like a clan, like a little sub-clan within the culture. So the I'm just going to copy up 3 first into my notes, so I have all of them together. And number 4, it's time to roll a d12 to figure out which. So the codes are: never break the chain, your family comes first, ahead of everything, even your own life. And the chain goes both ways. Respect, loyalty, and fealty are given both up and down the chain. So it's not just one way. You respect those above you and those below you equally. Respond with certainty. A slight or crime against one's Drogus is a slight against all Drogus. When one Drogus is harmed, 2 of the perpetrators must be harmed worse. Always send the message that the Drogus are one, and do not tolerate insults. Number 4 on my list will be number 9. Do not strike one another within the Surga, unless you're in the fighting pit. So, my little group, my Surga, we have a no violence policy, except when we're in the fighting pit. That just seems like something my character would want to be part of. 4. Do not knowingly interfere with another Drogus' dealings unless you intend to help. That's always good. It's fits along the lines a lot of this like honor among thieves, but not sort of thing. Not to say we're thieves. No, we are upstanding citizens. Let's see. Surga generator. So I guess it's the name of my Surga and what they are known for. So we'll roll a d10 and I'm going to roll that second one over again. 5 and 1. So my Surga is called Thrim. We are known for the Fringe Titan Tech medical practices, which at this point doesn't mean much to me. I don't know much about the Titan Tech, but medical practices, it's always a nice little thing you're known for, especially if we're beating each other up a lot in the fighting pit. Got to take out our frustration. We need to be able to heal ourselves. But then again, maybe the scars are a good sign. Heal enough, but not to remove the scars. And the cultural traits. So, for example, the dwarf had let's see, was it strength and let's see. Dwarf was page 29. So we go back. The dwarves here are either Constitution or Wisdom, increased by 1. And then if we go back to the Drogus, choose Strength, Intelligence, and Charisma, 2 of them by 1. So I said there's a lot of potential there. Obviously, the Con bonus or the Wisdom bonus might be nice for my dwarf. And here, Strength and probably Charisma, because I have the Intimidation skill. And let's see. Languages: Crucian, Common Tongue, and obviously Bartermouth. Let's see. I get proficiency in another set of. I get double proficiency with the tools. So whichever one I take from my dwarven heritage, for example, I think Smith's tools, I can then double it, which would be interesting. Tech-minded, you have advantage on intelligence, history, or arcana checks related to engineering, machines, and mechanical devices. So I am playing a barbarian, so even though I have the advantage, I'm not maybe dump intelligence. We'll see. But then again, having advantage, it's didn't pay much attention to that aspect of my heritage. But hey, some of it stuck with me. It's the advantage. And then we get to go with a cultural focus. To be anything from an arcanic companion that I've built, iron presence, which will give me advantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws, plus a little more. Salvager, scrap weapon. That would be interesting for a barbarian. Your scrap weapon shares the same stats as so as long as the weapon is not heavy or two-handed. So I guess a battle axe would fit, or a longsword. It also gains the throne property. Oh, it also gains the reach property. That would be nice. So I have a throwing sword on a polearm, I guess. Versatile. Even though, longsword might already have that, but that would be interesting. This works really well if I was playing a rogue. I could create, for example, a rapier with a thrown quality, with reach, and versatile. That would be interesting. Or, yeah. And once per day, I can modify it. Oh, it's one of those properties, obviously thrown, reach, or versatile. So for a battle axe, longsword, even a maul, I could give it the reach would be nice, or thrown quality. And then level 5, it gains +1 to attack and damage. And stubborn study. Oh, that would be interesting. That gives me basically proficiency and expertise in a skill, but not in one of my skills that are my primary attributes. Probably something in my low one. So maybe I don't have a high intelligence, but I will have double expertise and advantage in history, for example. So even though I don't have mechanically the aptitude for it, I studied hard because, of course, it's my heritage, my culture, being a Drogus. All right, so there's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll roll a d10. Though I am leaning towards scrap weapon or maybe stubborn study. We'll see. 9. That is stubborn study. That is interesting. Oh, I missed the bottom part here. So if I do fail, as long as I'm not in combat, I can choose to succeed instead. But once per rest. So it's interesting. Playing a barbarian, but he will be adept at probably go history checks, and then even more so if they're related to engineering, machines, or tech devices, mechanical devices there. So just going to put the page down, page 48. And so, hi, John and JT. I don't know if you're still there, but thanks for joining us. After the Drogus, let's see, is that? I think it's the last of the Drogus. Yes. So now we'll go to Barbarian and see what options there are for the Barbarian. Well, part of the Drogus, so I'm reared in scrapyards and made strong by backbreaking work day in and day out. So I'm just going to copy that anyway. It doesn't hurt to have some additional information. It's me interesting way of playing the character. This is not, I said, I don't really play barbarians, but this one here, there's a lot of nuances to him based because of his culture and his race that help define him. Let's see, Berserker Beginnings. We'll roll a d10 for that. 4. In your early life, you witnessed mass death like you never imagined, but you also tasted victory. Your awakened hunger for conquest fuels you. You know what? That is a nice little add-on. This is Berserkers of Dragongrin. Let me just check something. Oh, that's if I'm playing a Berserker. I think. Oh, that's what they're called. They're called the Berserkers of Dragongrin. That's how the flavor that they've added in. So I'm not a barbarian. I'm a berserker, and I could play one of the. So you know what? I don't know what level. Can't remember what level we're starting off. I think it might be level 3, but I'm gonna just go ahead with it anyway. Let's see. Fury Manifest. This is a D20. 17. You gain spectral tattoos that glow faintly of the tribe's totemic colors. That is cool. Dragongrin is a magical place. There's a lot of different stuff going on, so this aspect of it is nice here. All right, next is my Berserker Hallmark. Let's see. I have a mantra of a lost loved one. Wow. That is an interesting add-on to my character. Maybe that's why he's all alone off of venturing, because he has no one left in his life. And here you see some silhouettes of some weapons, possibly favored by the Berserkers of Dragongrin. Let's see. Next is the I am going to be generating my tribe. All right, so we'll roll this 3 times. Let me read it. Let's see. First one is an 8. A tight-knit community of blood-related folk. Next, my chieftain is thuggish and brutal. All right, that works, I guess. And let's see. And what do we value? Loyalty to the tribe. Let's see. So that's interesting. Just keeping we're a large family. I guess maybe the chieftain is maybe a grandfather, great grandfather. I guess see how long the dwarves last, how long they are. Maybe it's even a great great grandfather. Just one people marrying into the family. We get larger and larger, and and there are some primal paths that are included, some subclasses or archetypes. Path of the Unbound. Let's see. So, gain proficiency in improvised weapons and unarmed attacks. Actually, that's pretty nice, especially if I'm going to be in fighting pits. So I'm not taking out my weapon, but D6 with an unarmed weapon is unarmed strike is nice. Oh, and I can punch with both hands, I guess, or both improvised weapons. Maybe he fights with just maybe he's a 2-weapon fighter. Maybe I'll go along that route because that lends itself to that rather nicely. He doesn't carry his weapon, or he chooses when he pulls out his weapon. You know he means business. Let's see, Whirling Tempest. You may have the target an additional target within 5 feet using the same attack, so you get to hit an extra target when you're raging. You're very good at not being restrained, grappled, paralyzed. That's always nice. Your weapon becomes a symbol for others to rally behind. Your weapon critically hits on a 1920. So that would be nice. Maybe a big maul or warhammer on my back, but I don't take it off until I really mean business. I'll just be fighting with my fists. All right, some other abilities, and then there's the Path of the Mauler. Oh, this is interesting. I looked at this one briefly. I basically can start using oversized weapons. So there's the Thunder Hammer, which does 2d12 damage. The Giant Blade, which is 4d6. Executioner's Axe. Yes, JT, I know a lot of tables. It's a lot good for if you can't decide, you roll. It's nice. It has a lot of options that you can either pick from or choose as well. Let's see. All right, JT, I'll ask you. Which one? Let's go over the Path of the Mauler a bit more. Obviously, to balance off the extra damage, there's a -2 to armor class, and you have disadvantage on dexterity checks and saving throws. They're a little smaller, so big weapon, so you're a little slower. And the Mauler weapon is likely a family heirloom, which was passed down. Let's see, Mauler techniques. Oh, cool. So almost like a battle master from the looks of it. Shake the ground, whirlwind, fling, and they even have a list. The culture. So the Drogus would have a cobbled together maul made of several different weapons, and perhaps some Arcan baubles. I believe Arcan is a little like an ancient magic, I think, or no. Maybe it's a modern magic, but basically, yeah. It's little magic stuff, but it probably doesn't, just more for show. Let's see. Oh, and there we go. JT, I'll ask you, what do you like? The Path of the Mauler, or do you like the Path of the Unbound for this character? So the Unbound looks like he'll fighting unarmed a lot, and only pull out his weapon when he wants to, and maybe go 2-weapon fighting. Well, at least punching 2 hands. Or the Path of the Mauler and have this big ass weapon, but he's probably maybe Dex might be his dump stat, who knows, or at least low enough that he's not caring about. He's just slow and methodical in his how he does things. JT, you still there? If not, well, you like the Mauler. All right, there we go. So Path of the Mauler. Let's see. And cobbled together maul. So that's a good example of a weapon. Might be able to change it later. Maybe come up. I think the Amal sounds good, especially for the Drogus, because they are tinkerers and stuff. So I see more of a hammer than an axe. For example, the Grimdul have more of a sword. The Granok Thane have an axe. The Mord have a crystalline sword staff of purple metal. That would be interesting. And next, let's go. We have the background. We'll go back to the background. Ernst Wild Noble. Let's see. There's no question that Lightfall changed the world, and for you, it was an especially long fall from the top. Once of a prominent noble house, family, or faction, your dealings were deemed inappropriate to the new sovereign at best, and wholly blasphemous at worst. You either escaped a planned execution or granted a merciful banishment. Oh, because of my tribe is a tight-knit community of blood-related folk, perhaps we were a group of nobles who had to resort to being berserkers. That nice connection between the two. Skill proficiencies, history, and persuasion. I might already have history, but I guess persuasion might be a nice option. So persuasion and intimidation, because it comes back from being I was raised as a noble. At least maybe I might have been young, but I still have some of that in my. Still remember some of it. 2 languages of choice. Interesting for a barbarian, but still like maybe surprise some people. Equipment. a set of fine clothes, fine leather boots, an ornate staff, a comb and scissors, a signet ring from a defunct family or faction, spectacles, a locket, a monogrammed handkerchief, a parcel with your crest upon it, and a belt pouch containing 10 GP. Let's see, here's a picture of the items there. Let's see. And here we go. Background. Some more rolling. Let's see. Worldly possession. And this is D6. 6. A deed to a small dwelling. Interesting. The way to work that in. See, noble charge. 4. Spy on other nobles you used to hold close relations with before nightfall. Noble peculiarity. Yeah, I like a noble, like we become thuggish and brutal. Maybe we were beforehand, but we became berserkers because we were kicked out. We weren't allowed to be the nobles anymore. We didn't like being told what to do, I guess. But we still have some nobility with us. Oh, okay, JT. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for your help and everything, and we'll talk to you later. Sorry. What happened here? What happened? There we go. So we had a little technical hiccup there. Noble peculiarity. I don't know if I roll. I'm going to roll again. 4. Takes excellent care of garments and footwear. All right. Next. Nope, that's it. So basically now I have a lot of notes here, and it's an interesting character. I have to work on how I'm going to connect a few of the things, especially the background. But I like how a former noble whose family was kicked out because I guess they wouldn't follow the let's see. Their dealings were deemed inappropriate to a new sovereign at best, or wholly blasphemous. So maybe we used to spy on the nobles, and maybe they didn't. The ones who rose to power didn't like that. We were kicked out, and we had to become wandering tribe, berserker tribe. Well, all that pent up anger, especially for whoever it was who removed us, and that's why we're a close knit, tight knit community, because we're all that's left of the nobility. So whoever was head of our household is our chieftain, and loyalty to the tribe. But because we're also Drogish, we're also loyalty to other Drogish as well. So this interesting character retains a lot, some of his peculiarities as a noble, but even though he's a barbarian now, and I guess a tinkerer, the Drogas, I don't see them as being entirely clean, like because they're working with their hands. Maybe you have to figure out. Probably hammer would be best. That seems to fit. maybe a smith of some kind. So, well, thank you for everyone who was watching and may watch this again. Hopefully, you'll tune in to Tim Kearney's Dragongrin campaign, and you'll see my character and the other characters. It's he's bringing a lot of people in. He's going to have people dropping in, dropping out, playing at different times and stuff. So I don't know if I'll get to play one game or multiple, but we'll see. Hopefully, I get to this character will last for a while. We'll get to try see how he progresses as he gains experience and if he stays a barbarian or changes to something else. We'll see. Thank you again, and let's see. Thank you for joining us. And as I said, if you're interested in purchasing this, links are down below. Just download the free character creation kit. Doesn't have everything I went through tonight, but it also gives you a nice starter and gives you a lot of information to just to make the character. But you can also purchase the PDF or even the print copy, which includes the PDF as well. Please support Absolute Tabletop, as I use a lot of their products, especially their adventure kits, Oath of the Frozen King, and Shadows over Drift Chapel. Those adventure kits self-contained that you could run anything from a one-shot or to an intro to a campaign. You could probably even expand on it to develop into a full campaign. It's a lot of tables. You can just, grab the dice and just create a random adventure right there on the spot, or you can pre-plan. As I said, the awesome group, as I said, Absolute Tabletop, and go check them out. And I'd like to just say until next time,